am reading The Casual Side of Memento Mori. How are you doing? Welcome. My name is Adam. And we're just a little over a week into July. I hope everyone's having a good summer, okay? And I wanted to make a reminder that July is the second month of the Memento Mori Book to Film Club. It's a club where every month we read a book, watch a film adaptation of that book, and then come back here on the last Thursday of every month to talk about it, okay? And the choice for July is Children of Men, okay? The Children of Men, the book by P.D. James, first published in 1992, and the film adapted by Alfonso Cuarón in 2006. And I'll put a link down below to the introduction video for the Book to Film Club, where I go over, all the details of the club, and also give the complete list of all the books and films that we will be reading and watching over the next year. In that video, I mentioned Children of Men and how it is, in my opinion, the most accessible film on the list, for sure. It's a dystopian action thriller. Accessible, at least in regards to the film. This will be my first time reading the book. But, it's a film that certainly has a lot of social commentary, has a lot of themes and layering, and it's incredibly timely, which we'll talk about at the end of the month. But it also is a film that can straight up just be viewed as a great, action-packed, visually stunning sort of thriller. And Alfonso Cuarón, a lot of people, of course, know him through the one Harry Potter film that he did, which, we we don't talk about that franchise here on the channel. But more notably, probably Gravity. So even if you haven't seen Children of Men, you probably have an idea of at least visually, what an auteur he is. And Children of Men is definitely his greatest film, in my opinion. So I'm excited to get to that. And then the book, The Children of Men by P.D. James. This is a great excuse for me to pick her up because I've never read James. And from what I understand, this is quite different from her usual fare in regards to what she usually wrote. I think she usually focused on kind of detective crime fiction. And again, this is dystopian. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong to the P.D. James fans out there. But either way, also looking forward to the book. And once again, I'll be back here on the last Thursday of July to talk about both of them. So please pick the book up with me, watch the film, and come back and let me know how you got along with it at the end of the month. As for what I'm currently reading, forget holding my hand. You're going to have to clutch it on this one, okay? I'm reading All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, okay? And, how do I say? Here on Memento Mori, we love to make fun of the hype train. Gently, of course. But it's, we've talked a lot about, I don't know, what a turnoff the kind of new release train is and people getting hyped. Because it often revolves around literary prizes, which we've already established is just such a bore, right? But also more intently, it's the kind of political side that goes with it, where people now are more focused on, filling out their diversity bingo card and waving their hashtag own voices flag around, rather than really talking about good books, right? It's all just become this big circle jerk with people patting themselves on the back. And it's something I try to avoid for the most part. But I definitely do indulge in a form of hype, which I guess you could call canon hype. Is that a thing? Okay. In canon hype, thinking about the books from our time, from, the 21st century, what are the books that have a chance to enter the literary canon, whatever that may be. What are the books that will still be read 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and so on. What are the books that after that initial bubble of hype happens and the dust clears, what are the books that will still have legs that will carry them into the hands of future readers. And what does carry them can be a multitude of things. Of course, the most stable being books that enter the curriculum of schools and universities, right? That's definitely the most dependent way to get yourself into the canon. But certainly also general popularity can carry a book, a long way. And what is, in the canon or belongs in the canon or doesn't belong in the canon is, of course, endlessly debatable, and it's always shifting. And certainly in regards to the 21st century, it's far too fresh to really with any certainty say that anything is in the canon, but it's still fun to think about, right? And I think, there are certainly books released within the century that are, stand a very good chance of being a staple within the canon. For example, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. No matter how you feel about that book, I don't think there's any doubt that it's going to ease, right into the 22nd century. No doubt. I think Gilead by Marilynne Robinson is another safe bet. There's quite a few. Maybe that's another video. But again, it's all just speculation because nothing is set in stone, right? And books can leave the canon just as easily as they enter. For example, up until recently, I would have said that, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde was a pretty safe bet in regards to the 21st century canon. But after his recent, personal drama, I could easily see both, Junot Diaz and that novel just kind of fading into obscurity. So who knows? And again, nothing is set in stone, and only time can really show what books will live, within the canon. But that brings us the long way here to something like All the Light We Cannot See, right? So, this was a book that was published in 2014. Of course, it had a lot of hype. Everybody was reading it. It won the Pulitzer. It was a huge deal. And certainly one of those books that even after the initial hype and the dust cleared, it's still a book, I think, that still stands a strong chance to, have a wide readership as the years go by. So it's for that reason alone that I'm drawn to books like this. And I gotta say, there is a certain amount of delight that comes with picking a book up like this a few years after its initial, explosion. Because it's sort of like, sneaking into a hotel pool after hours, right? And you go in and it's completely empty and there's no little ugly children around and there's no chicks lined up on their chaise lounges, flipping through magazines and texting. It's just me alone in the pool with this dumbass book, okay? It's kind of nice. Yeah, the actual book, I don't know, man. I'm like a fourth of the way through it, and it's so schmaltzy. It's just ridiculous. It's a World War II drama, okay? And let's see if I can say this with a straight face, but it bounces back between the perspective of a blind Parisian girl and a German albino orphan Nazi, okay? Like I would say you can't make this shit up, but if you're Anthony Doerr, apparently you can. It's just really dumb. And I think actually the most annoying thing about the novel is the short chapters, man. These short chapters, I don't get it. Again, the book goes back and forth between these two characters, and it's told in these kind of 2 or 3 page vignettes. I don't know. It's annoying. And can we take a sidetrack again here? Do you ever feel like when you watch people here on the BookTube, there's this fascination where people seem to prefer shorter books with shorter chapters? Like, it's so bizarre. I don't get it. It almost seems like this circuit of people who are readers that don't like to read. I'm serious. I really think a lot of people on here like to finish books, but there seems to be quite a few that don't actually like the process in between. It's so bizarre. Am I the only one seeing this? And don't get me wrong, I can understand the art of the novella and appreciate a tightly wound short book, but something is off with the folks on here, and that's not even like diving into the abyss of the audiobook epidemic. But yeah, anyway, certainly short chapters can be utilized well, but I don't think very much so in All the Light We Cannot See. But again, I'm only a fourth of the way through it, and I'll slog through the smalts, okay, and report back. And as for it entering the canon, certainly it's a contender. I guess the question with this book would be, does the canon have room for one more syrupy World War II drama? So I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. Anthony Doerr. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Down below, please let me know, number one, will you be joining me for the Book to Film Club? Will you be reading and or watching Children of Men with me? Secondly, what is one novel published within the 21st century that you think has a solid place within the canon, or will have a solid place, rather? And then finally, to all you readers out there, do you like to read? Like, we should not have to ask this question, but I think it warrants it. Do you like to read? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to you later.